What's good, y'all? It's your boy Ali back at it again with another video. This is week 3 of me documenting my process of trading a $20,000 live futures account. This week I made $0 pretty much, a break-even week for me. Took a few trades, so let's get into it. Let's go over the good, the bad, and everything in between. All right, so this is the first trade that I took this week. This was on Tuesday. Um, Coming into the day, I was bearish. You can see the previous day we were chopping a little bit and then we fell overnight. We had 2 consecutive breaks to the downside, and I was bearish overall on the day. Um, I used my fair value gap close slash order block along with the retest of these equal lows as a entry, and it hit my entry and it kind of bounced around a little bit. This is the 1 hour time frame, so you can't really see all the lower time frame movements, but it bounced around. Once it hit it, bounced around a little bit, and then it fell pretty hard. Obviously, it would have been great to catch this entire move, but not realistic. I just aimed for my 1-to-1 on this trade, and I got out. But coming into the trade, it's the context that I had. Um, Overall, with all the statistics that I had, it averaged out to a 92% chance of me winning on this trade. I wanted to size up. However, I want to build a cushion on this account a little bit. So um, I just kept my normal size. And great execution, really no emotions. Knew exactly where I wanted to enter. Um, and yeah, just overall good trade. Let's come down to the 5 minute a little bit. See what I had. Yeah, so I was a little tempted to target the VWAP here on this trade prior to entering. Uh, I would have had to see my C price go to my 1-to-1 target, go back down into drawdown, almost to my stop loss, and then it would have went down to VWAP. So I wasn't really willing to do that. Like I said, I'm just trying to build a little bit of a cushion before I start holding for longer targets. So this is kind of the 5 minute. We had a nice push up into our entry, and then a nice rejection. You can see like I said, we just played around this entry, hit my entry price like 2 or 3 times before actually dropping. And yeah, coming out of the 1 minute right quick, just to get a little bit of a better look what was going on. So the trade lasted about 5 minutes. I got out on that red candle that hit that little blue line right there. And yeah, so in this trade, I made around $1,000, probably around 970 something after fees and commissions. But I'll put the screenshot. All right. So this is Wednesday. This is the second trade of the week. Wednesday overall I made this day harder than it needed to be. I could have just stopped out, and got stopped out and just took my 2 losses for the day, and could have been done stress free. But I took 2 back-to-back losses. This is the first one. So coming into the day, I was bearish on the 1 hour, and we had a strong push up in pre-market, and this caused me to be very hesitant, and I wasn't confident in the trade at all. But I wanted to just follow my rules, follow my system, regardless of how I was feeling, because when I'm back testing, I have no feelings. So when I'm executing in the market, I feel like I should have no feelings as well. And I went ahead and did that, and I ended up taking a loss pretty quickly. I had about an 82% chance, according to my data, had about 82% chance of winning on this trade. You can see in my notes right here, was not confident at all because of the pre-market price action. Intuition was screaming to either not get in or size down significantly. Um, Need to backtest the success of pre-market high rejections that have been set on the 8 a.m. candle. And yeah, let's go down to 5 minutes. You can kind of see what I mean by that. So this pre-market high was set in the 8 a.m. 1 hour candle, and pretty much right at open or close to open, it hit my entry and it just flew right past it. And you can see I have my second entry, the FVGO entry, right above it. So that was the second loss that I took. As soon as I got out of that first one, I got into the second one, and um, it came pretty close to hitting, my 1-to-1 right there, and then it just flew. So that was the first trade. And then the second one, like I said, was right at the FVGO entry. Similar trades, basically the same trades, and got stopped out pretty quickly on both of them. Um, and I got in my feelings about it, and I ended up taking a few trades outside of my system, going into drawdown, and then having to scrape my way back. That's why the total weekly trade shows like 18 instead of just 4, which it should have been. Um, so you can see kind of in the notes here, I had a 75% chance of losing the second one. I was a little more confident on the second one just because my data shows me I don't really. It's rare that I lose 2 trades in a row. Um, I almost sized up actually on the second one, but I'm glad I didn't. Just the volatility of it and that strong push in pre-market just had me on my heels, especially with how small that 5 point stop was on here. I'm always a little more hesitant on those. So what really got me on the tilt was this right here. Let me go down to 5 minute. So I had my 5 point stop, and it just got ran through both of my first and second entry, and I wanted to take the second entry at the fair value gap close, but it's not part of my rule, so I didn't, and I went ahead and took the fair value gap open, which has a pretty good win rate. But for whatever reason, the fair value gap close actually worked. Right, I took my 2 losses, and then the last one I didn't take, and it actually worked, and that got under my skin. And then I ended up like buying this bottom right here, just trying to chase that parabolic move to the downside, and literally bought the exact bottom, and it flew. And I just spent all day trying to get out of trying to get out of that drawdown, and eventually got back to break even. So that's what happened on Wednesday, and I ended up losing around 2K. So yeah, let's go on to the next trade. Alrighty, and the third trade was on Thursday. Coming into the day, I was bullish. You can see yesterday we had a very strong move up after I got obliterated, and coming into Thursday was still bullish. Um, we had this pre-market low slash fair value gap, which I don't take those, so I faded that pre-market low bounce. Glad I did, and wanted the fair value gap close. Ended up catching a bounce. Happened pretty quickly. Went to my 1-to-1. I got out, and it went to 2-to-1, I believe. But we're gonna drill down into the 5 minute. But I won on this trade. Got my 1-to-1 target. Got out, and I ended up flying after it. Came back down. Went past my stop. And ended up flying back to the high of day. Um, Something that I learned today was that the futures version of the S&P 500 and the actual stock, the index fund SPY, sometimes they have different pre-market levels. Um, and if I would have taken the pre-market level on SPY, then I would have made a lot more money, or I could have made a lot more money had I held it past 1R. So this really made me question all my other pre-market low or pre-market high setups. So I spent the weekend back testing if there was a significant difference in these two and how often they happen. And what I found was that sometimes the pre-market lows and highs are different, sometimes they're not. And then um, most of the time when they are different, the pre-market low on SPY is normally more accurate, especially when it leaves, like when it's aligned with the gap. If the pre-market low is also like a gap opening, so I'll keep that in mind. Um, and yeah, let's drill down to the 5 minute. Um, and I actually wasn't supposed to take this fair value gap close long, just because it's not in my A plus category yet. But once we swept that pre-market low, and then I realized that that wasn't the real pre-market low, I'm like, okay, this fair value gap close is a kind of aligned with the level that's supposed to be the real pre-market low, and it's at another order block. So I took it and got the W. Coming out of the 5 minute, you can kind of see here. This big ritual reward box is um, what the trade would have looked like if I took it at the SPY pre-market low. So you can see right here, it hit my level, bounced up pretty nicely, went to 2R or close to it, then came back down and then bounced all the way to high of day. And right here on SPY, it's just beautiful, right? It tapped it, bounced a few times, and then just rocketed to higher day. And I noticed during the back testing that once we bounce for pre-market low, it's a pretty good probability that at some point we do go to high of days. So I'm going to be looking at targeting high of days after I hit my 1-to-1 and probably taking partials. So I'm going to start doing that after I build, like I said, that cushion. And yeah, that's the trades that we took for the week.